Hi, everybody. I was trying to wait and see if anybody else came in real quick, but I see that Marilee's here. Thank you so much, Marilee. You're so sweet. And thank you for me being a member of our channel. I thought I'd just give it a minute, but I'm burning up, y'all. I'm like fanning myself. I've already made dinner for Mark and I made dinner for my dad and my sister because my sister lives with my dad. Or not my sister. Jesus. My daughter, my youngest daughter. Oh, I was looking at Marilee and got sister. So anyway, I made this casserole thing, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. It's one of those things you see on Facebook, and you think, oh, that sounds good. And then you make it, and you're like, ugh, I hope it sounds good. But anyway, all I did was I fried potatoes, like cut them up in pieces and fried them real good, where they're real brown. And I put them in a baking dish, and then I cooked up some ground beef and mixed it with some spaghetti sauce and some tomato sauce. Mix that all up, and I put the meat mixture on top of the potatoes, and then you are supposed to have went home. Charlie, you're in trouble. Mark came to find you. Sorry. Where have you been? Mark was looking for you. My little brother dog will not go home. He wants to live with me. But anyway, you put mozzarella cheese on it, or you can put any kind of grated cheese on it you want. But I told Mark to get me like an Italian blend, um, but he didn't. So I used mozzarella. So anyway, so I made like a dish of it for us and a dish of it for my dad and my daughter, Katie, since her girls are at their dad's tonight. So it's just the two of them for dinner. So I made them a little something. I was going to put onions in it because we like onions, but I didn't because Katie and Megan are both allergic to onions. So I got two daughters that are allergic to onions, and me and their dad love them. If Mark was here, he'd be like, and me. So, like, and their stepdad, even though that. So, anyway, I am tired. I had to make that, and I was hurrying up to do it. I'm gonna put ours in the oven as soon as this live is over, and just melt the cheese, heat it back up a little bit, or Mark will probably do it when he gets back from taking food to dad. And the dog was supposed to have went with him, but he hid, and so we thought maybe he had already gone home. But he would live here if he could, till about 11:30 at night, and then he starts whining, wanting my dad. And it's a pain in the butt to have to go up to my dad's, which the door's usually locked. So I'm like trying to knock on the door and everything, and it's a mess. He's a mess. I've spoiled him. He's the little, come here, Charlie. Come here. Come here and see him. You want to see him? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. He's my baby. He's my little brother. Yes, this is Charlie. There's Charlie. He's awful sweet. He's about 2. He's precious. Yeah. He would live here if I would let him, I'm telling you. Oh, he loves Susie. He just loves. Yeah, Susie loves you too. But anyway, so I'm going to check with my chat for a minute. Miss Marilee's here. Thanks for being a member. Constance Jones here. Thanks for being a member. DOA is a fraud is here. Evie is here. Eileen Bradley, Lisa Kelson, Gary Mackey. Goodness, there's a bunch of you here. TKK. Trying to see if there's somebody I didn't. Miss Sunrise Dawn from North Georgia. Mr. North Georgia in the house, Gary Mackey says. Joe McCoyne, good to see you too. Goodness, you guys, everybody's showing up. Everybody's in the house. I feel like Reese, chat a symbol, and here you guys are. So, yes, he's a King Charles. Yeah, a King Charles Cavalier or whatever. Yeah, he's a registered little King Charles. He's a good boy. He's rotten, but he's so sweet. You gotta love him. Speaking of dogs, for those of you that were on the live last night, whenever Mark had to skedoodle real fast because Katie, the youngest daughter, her little dog Luna went missing. She's a little I forget what she is, Yorkie, like tiny little 4 pound nothing of a dog. Anyway, she's old. She's about almost blind. She has dementia and all that. Well, she disappeared yesterday about noon. And Katie had looked for her and looked for her and looked for her and looked for her and kept waiting, thinking that she would come back. And she didn't. And we all looked and looked and looked and looked last night. I didn't. I looked through the house some to make sure she hadn't hidden a corner somewhere because she would. And she can't hardly hear. She couldn't hardly hear, couldn't hardly see. So anyway, we think that she has went off to die, is what we think. And it breaks our hearts. We have searched the entire property. Mark was on his tractor last night, his little yard tractor, and he went all over the whole property and never could find her. And dogs are like that. When they're ready, they will go, they'll go hide somewhere sometimes. We just kind of was hoping that she'd go hide in the house. So, yeah. Aw. Lisa says her youngest daughter is named Katie too. Great minds think alike. My daughter, her name is Katie Marie, and it's spelled Kadee and Maree. My ex-husband picked the spelling, and I don't know where he got it. Miss Sunrise Dawn says that her parents had a King Charles Cavalier, and he was the best. This one is amazing, except for he won't go home. He wants to be taken, and then Mark gets irritated because it's several trips and Katie Lynn's a pretty name. Lisa, that's a pretty name. Yeah, Constance June dogs will do that. We had one dog that did that, and it broke me, but we searched for days and days and days, and we never found him. And I don't know where they go and what they do, but when they want to disappear, they will disappear. Hello, the Journey 2020. Good to see you. Indigo's Insights. If I look away from it, I can say it. Yeah. Yeah, old dogs will leave you to pass. So sorry, Susie. Thanks, Joel. My daughter is like completely freaked out, but she's going to be okay. She knew it was coming. She was actually going to take her to the vet this next Friday or Saturday, I can't remember. And see what they thought because she was, having some issues with her bowels and just, she was looking at maybe having to put her down. And I said, well, she didn't want to be put down. She didn't want you to go through that. So she just left. Oh, yeah. Charlie doesn't bark very much, very often at all, Miss Sunrise Dawn. Like I've heard him like once or twice. Now he'll probably bark because I said that because how dogs are. They make a liar out of you. But it was probably a good year and a half before we ever heard him bark. And when he did, me and my dad just like looked like, is that Charlie? We're like looking around to make sure none of the other dogs was around. So anyway, I don't know. I'm just jabbering on, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get started and I will check back with you. I'll try to keep an eye on you and see if anybody else comes in. We're 9 minutes in and I don't see Mischief yet, but when she gets here, I'll be in trouble if I don't get started. So I'm going to get started. So have y'all ever wondered, um, where little Davy, fake Space Navy came from? I don't necessarily mean his his parents. We know that. But I mean, like, what kind of a upbringing did he have? What kind of, person was he as a younger person? It's either him or a dog. Anyway, I know you've heard some about his father, Ron Miscavige, and I know that you know that the Church of Scientology ruins lives. Hey, Mark, is that you? He's in here. You probably got up to Dad's and he jumped up on the bed like here I am. Anyway, they not only ruin families, they flat out destroy them, y'all. They destroy them. But, I the more that I was like looking into it, I figured out that they are an absolutely equal opportunity destructive force, y'all. Even David Miscavige's family could not escape the ruin that Scientology does. So I just, wanted to study on it a little bit. So I made a few notes and we're going to go over that today. So today I want to look into Ron Miscavige. Not a deep dive, y'all. I'm not going to do that. You can read his book, Ruthless, for that. I would just be repeating everything that's in the book. But I want to offer some information and insight into just how bizarre, like really bizarre, that his son truly is. He's, well, ruthless. And let's just jump right into it, shall we? David Miscavige would make you believe that Scientology works for everyone if applied correctly. But if that is true, shouldn't the leader of the Church of Scientology be able to apply it correctly to his own family? One would think so, right? The church touts that their ability to love other people and that family bonds are strengthened dramatically, and that the church members take pride in resolving family conflicts and problems. Do we know of any of that? Hey, Blake, good to see you. I think they do the opposite of that, y'all. I don't think that they help families solve conflicts, build stronger relationships. I don't think they do any of that. I don't know where they're getting that from because I certainly haven't seen it. But even if, okay, even if that's all true, it seems to have eluded the Miscavige family. Most notable of the Miscavige family to abandon the Church of Scientology would be Jenna. Or maybe that's just because we like her the most. She's the niece of David, but so much more. So much more. And I hate to even lump her with him, but at the same time, I think it's amazing that she's the niece and she got the hell out of there. So, anyway. Oh, so we're going to look into Ron Miscavige, which is David Miscavige's father, who brought the future leader of the church into Scientology, y'all. So we can blame it all on him. So in 1969, Ron Miscavige brought his son, 9-year-old David, to his first counseling session, thus beginning what led to David taking the helm of the Church of Scientology. But today, let's look a little bit first into Ron, from before he found Scientology to his death at 85, okay? It seems David's violent streak may be a learned behavior or even inherited. There's some questions about like nurture over nature or nature over nurture, however they say that. And Lisa, I've got his book and I've not read it yet. I keep meaning to and I keep not doing it, but I'm going to. So I'm glad to see that you liked it because that makes me want to read it. And I think he was a character too, from everything I have read. Anyway, Ron admitted in his book, Ruthless, to having beat his first wife, Loretta, mother of his 4 children. He claimed he never hit her in the face, but did punch her in the arm and push her if she came at him. He further claimed that she threw things at him all the time, including pots, pans, and even a pot of boiling hot coffee, and that they fought constantly and in front of the children. So it seems like to me that was an awful volatile relationship to begin with, that he was, that he was raised with, right? Like it seems like I'm not going to put all the blame on him. It sounds like his wife was kind of a hot mess too. Anyway, after making a successful living selling cookware, Ron moved his family to England for 15 months to further study Scientology. This meant uprooting the family, quitting his lucrative job, and pulling the children out of school. Ron had found Scientology from someone that he did a pyramid scheme with. This is stuff he admits, y'all. So, I mean, he wasn't, it's not a secret. So, anyway, a pyramid scheme, sorry, called Holiday Magic. This person told Ron the way to rid himself of a headache was to conjure an image of yourself looking in a mirror and give the headache to that person in the mirror. And apparently it worked for Ron, which led him to be a convert immediately. It seems to me like, a couple pain relievers, aspirin, whatever, Tylenol, whatever they had at the time, would have saved them a lot of misery, but, whatever. And if you're giving the headache to the person in the mirror that you have conjured a picture of yourself in the mirror, aren't you giving the headache to yourself? I don't know. It was weird, but he said it worked. So, sorry, I'm laughing at something else. David became a convert after his father took him to see a Scientologist to rid him of his asthma, and it too worked. I'm wondering if he had like childhood asthma and he outgrew it because he was like a, preteen, early teen kind of deal. I don't know. I don't know. At 16, David left high school to join the Sea Org. When David was 25 and already a powerful person in the Church of Scientology, Ron was living in the King of Prussia. At this time, a woman had sued the Church of Scientology for fraud and was awarded $39 million in a settlement. About this same time, Ron was a suspect in an attempted rape case. Sorry, I probably should have. I don't know what I should have. I don't care. He called his son, who sent the church's attorney, Michael Hertzberg, the next day with a suitcase full of money for bail. Eventually, coincidentally, the woman said she wasn't sure that it was Ron that had attempted to rape her, and the case was dismissed. Sounds a little fishy. It doesn't take a suitcase full. Selena Fan. Oh boy, I don't know. Selena Fan Para. I don't know, but it's good to see you. West Coast Fancy Nancy, you too. So Selena Fan Para. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not good with names. So, but it is good to see you, and I hope that you keep joining us. I don't recognize your name. Okay, y'all. In 1985, Ron also joined the Sea Org. It's odd to me that the father joined after the son, but that's what happened. And moved to the Gold Base to work at the music production team. He described living conditions as constant work, no sleep, substandard food. At times, the allocation for staff dipped to $3 per person per day. All his mail was read and phone calls were monitored. And if he went to a doctor, which he had some ailments at this time, he had to have an escort to follow him. He did say that this constant surveillance happened in small increments. It wasn't like he joined and boom, he was just like under constant surveillance. He joined and it just got worse and worse and worse. Hey, eat more pizza now. Good to see you. Brooke Elliott. Hello. Don Gloves. I may be missing some more, but I'll catch you whenever I go back through here. Anyway, Ron said in his book that he once got scabies, and his son, David, couldn't have cared less about it and how it affected his dad. All he cared about was the fact that he might get the little parasites himself. Ron also had stress-related eczema, so bad that he would bleed all over his sheets. So he was going to the doctor for some of that stuff too. Apparently, y'all, the older that David got and the higher he rose in the Church of Scientology, the more sadistic he became. And his sadistic nature fed over to his dad too. He wasn't nice to his dad either. He wasn't nice to anybody. If he was, it was because I guess Tom Cruise. But anyway, according to Ron, David once commanded everyone in his department to spit on a man who had fallen out of favor. It was when David was the head of the ASI, Author Services Inc. So he wasn't even the head of the church yet. He was the head of the ASI, where he handled L. Ron's literary endeavors, income, and finances. So he was pretty important, but he, wasn't the head yet. L. Ron was still alive. Ron did say that, to their credit, everybody except for David and one other man refused to spit on the guy, but that David and the other guy chewed tobacco before they spit on him. So, pretty gross. Just kind of an asshole, y'all. Being David didn't put him above being verbally abused or humiliated. In the early 2000s, at a musical event, Ron told of David going on a tirade in front of well-known Italian pop, had to hiccup. In front of a well-known Italian pop star. About something that Ron never really did figure out what the hell was wrong. Ron claimed to have been utterly mortified. And at the end of the tirade said, okay, I get it. Like, I got it. Whatever, To which David replied, good. I was waiting to hear that from you. That's why I was going on for the last 55 minutes. And I know that this is a lot about David, but I want you to think of it as how it was affecting Ron, his father. So that's why I think it has as much to do with Ron as it does David. Anyway, Ron does say that there was good times, but that the bad far outweighed the good. Oh, geez, y'all. In 1986, when David rose to leader at the age of 26, after a power struggle, y'all, his son let him know early on not to expect special treatment. Ron said he accepted that and was proud of his son for having risen so far, and that for a while their relationship was pretty good. So, there's that. Yeah, okay, never mind. I thought I skipped a whole card. He did grow weary, though, of the constant monitoring. That really bothered him, which I can understand that. It would bother me too. But he did enjoy working with Scientology's celebrities and traveling with the church band. He played the trumpet. But the workload was crushing, with little or no reward or praise. Hey, Pippi Longstocking, good to see you. Max Smith, good to see you too. I'm trying to catch you when you come in so that I know where I'm at. Mischief isn't here starring comments, so we're going to have fun in a little bit. Anyway, so after divorcing Loretta, he married Becky Bigelow, a longtime Sea Org member from Wisconsin. And he says that his life just got so much better. Okay. So, see, that kind of tells me that him and Loretta were probably feeding off of each other. That's not excusing either one of them, but you can kind of feed off of each other and it can get very volatile that way. My ex husband and I, neither one of us are bad people, neither one of us are violent people, but we fed off of each other terribly. Still, for years, he wavered on whether to stay or leave. He was quickly becoming disillusioned, y'all. He was just getting kind of fed up with it. And he was getting older, too. He was bothered by his son's traits, his hot temper, his driving people to their absolute limits. He just there was all this domination and just belittling everyone, and that wasn't what Ron signed up for. That wasn't the church that he signed on to. In his book, Ron touched on whether David's anger stemmed from the domestic violence he witnessed as a boy. But Ron says he thinks that his tendencies were with him from birth. He says, I think he was just always that way. That they had always had like issues. By many accounts, David rules with more force and antagonism since about 2000, about the year 2000. His profane outbursts become more frequent as sleep-deprived Sea Org members struggle to please him. They're sleep-deprived and they're just getting worse and worse. And the more that they don't sleep, the more they mess up. So then the more he yells at, it's like a vicious circle. In fact, former high-ranking staff members said that he often punched or slapped people. But of course, the Church of Scientology denies that that ever happened. Because, he never did any wrong. Ron said that he had never seen that kind of behavior or read any of Hubbard's writings that supported that kind of behavior. And he just kind of started thinking this was totally off the rails. That this is not the church that he signed on to. This is not what Scientology was supposed to be. I mean, it was already, out there. We're not going to deny that. But it really, I guess, got worse. Really worse, starting around the year 2000. The church, obviously, rejects the idea that Ron's life in the Sea Org was hard. In fact, their website used to contain photos. It may still, I didn't look, but it used to contain photos of him enjoying parties and catered birthday dinners, all arranged by his son, which he said that their relationship was good until it wasn't. His son would give gifts to his father, an Italian motorcycle, a fancy exercise machine, a novelty trumpet, all kinds of stuff. So they try to say, well, because of this, his life wasn't bad. But I'm here to tell you, I don't care how many gifts somebody gives you, they can still be very abusive and be a total dick. And your life can still be hard. But he did say, that at first their relationship was good. So, anyway, in 2006, he was gifted a new Ford Focus station wagon on his 70th birthday, wrapped with a big red ribbon. Wasn't that sweet? But his music kept getting rejected, and he was feeling pretty much useless in his job. But Becky kept telling him, it'll get better. Just hang on. It's going to get better. I mean, what got me on that was that by the age of 70, he should have been retiring, not trying to figure out how to be more useful to the church. I mean, seriously, shouldn't he have been retiring? I don't know. I don't understand how, with all these people that have spoke out, that the FBI still just hasn't shut them down, hasn't found a way to absolutely shut them down. All they'd have to do is get with the IRS and get rid of that tax exemption, and they would die. I mean, it'd probably be a slow, miserable death of the Church of Scientology, but it would at least, it'd be faster than it is right now. That's for sure. Ugh. By 2011, he set up a meeting with his son telling him that he couldn't live that way anymore. He was, sick of it. But what did he ask for? More satisfying work. I'm like, seriously? David said that he would look into it and get him some more satisfying work, but nothing ever happened. And Ron eventually just told Becky that it was time to go, and she agreed. Good for her. So they started planning their escape. Hello, FBI, did you not hear that? Escape. What church do you have to escape from? It makes me sick. I mean, all of it. Mm. In March 2012, Ron and Becky drove from the church's desert compound to Becky's parents in Whitewater, Wisconsin, west of Milwaukee. But they soon moved to Virginia to live with Ronnie Miscavige, his son. That would be Jenna's dad. Ron sent David, actually, a letter asking for financial help after he left the church. He left the Sea Org. They didn't actually leave the church. They were still Scientologists. So, but anyway, but he left the church building, okay? In the letter, he asked for financial help since he had not paid much at all into Social Security with his $47 a week income that he had made in the Sea Org. So David sent his dad $100,000 check so that he could buy a house, and paid for thousands of his dad's medical costs. Great. I mean, good on you. All, according to David, was from his inheritance from his mom, who had died in 2005. She must have done something. I couldn't find information on her, but I'm going to go back and look some more, because there has got to be a story there. Because if she was married to him and they were Scientologists and everything, how the hell? I mean, I guess it could be a life insurance policy. But anyway, I'm going to look into it, because how did she afford to give David such a large inheritance that he could give his dad $100,000 and pay several $1,000s in medical bills? So I want to look into her a little bit. So be on the lookout. Ron did buy a small house. It was a little brick house. It was cute. Cricket Cinema, good to see you. And said that he was grateful for the money, but that his son was paying private investigators to follow him all at the same time. So his son does one thing nice and one thing kind of, turdish. In 2013, a father and son team from Florida were arrested while trying to case Ron's house. The pair told police, they had sung like birds, y'all, that they had followed Ron and Becky from Wisconsin to Virginia and back and forth. They listened to their conversations, they rifled through their trash, they were tracking them with GPS devices, and they were reporting all of their findings hourly back to the church. And they got paid $10,000 a week. Now you think about it, that's a lot of money now, but even in 2013, that was a lot of money. So, and it had been going on. It didn't just start then. That's when it ended. Their fee apparently came from Roffler and Associates, a Tampa investigation firm. So they didn't get paid directly from the church, but that don't mean that's not who was doing it. Police, due to how odd the circumstances of the surveillance was and the heavy firearm presence in their SUV, suspected that the PIs were actually hitmen. I mean, they were like, why would this church spend this amount of resources to know their every move? I mean, they were like, it's his dad. I mean, one of the detectives was like, it's his dad. Have a conversation. Ask him what he's doing. Sorry, I was going to move that just a little bit. It's been bothering me. The church claimed that David didn't know anything about the surveillance and that the Church of Scientology attorneys made the call to protect him for his own safety and well-being. Do y'all believe that? Afraid his famous name would expose him to harm. So they were supposedly following old Ron and his wife Becky all over the place to protect him. I ain't buying it. And of course David didn't know about it. But they thought that because Ron's last name was Miscavige, that it would cause him to be, you know, harmed. When in the long run, by who? I mean, who are their enemies that would be doing any kind of harm to somebody? It's them that does harm to people, not vice versa. Ugh. Ron said that he called and told his son to get his goons off of him, but he was told that David wouldn't talk to him because he didn't trust him. Mm, goodness. And Ron's daughters, who had been in regular contact with him up until then, stopped talking to him. He traveled to Clearwater, y'all, to see them, but we're told that they wanted absolutely nothing to do with him, and thus he became a victim of disconnection. It's isn't it just weird? The church claims the reasons his daughters cut contact was because he went to live with Ronnie. And Ronnie had already, been kind of speaking out and making them mad. And anyway, and their brother, Ronnie, had been accused of sexually abusing, they had accused him of sexually abusing them as children. And he had been arrested in 2012 in a prostitution sting while Ron and Becky were actually staying with him or with them. Anyway, the daughters say they will never betray David and they want nothing to do with, or wanted, he's dead now, but anyway, at the time they said they would never betray David and they wanted nothing to do with their father and they called him evil. Anyway, so after Denise and Lori, Denise being David's twin sister actually, disconnected, Ron, who he had met, Ron had previously met Lisa Marie Presley, okay? And he told her what was going on, and she tried to intervene. Ron wrote that a few days later, church officials brought Denise out to chew him out, or to chew out Lisa Marie for trying to intervene. And Lisa Marie's husband at the time told Ron that watching Denise do her thing as far as chewing out Lisa Marie was like watching David with a wig on. Y'all. I'm trying not to laugh. Blowing a gasket. So basically, he's like, man, watching his twin sister is like watching him. If you put a wig on him, that's what it looked like. That's what she looked like. She looked like David with a wig out there blowing a gasket. Mm. Ron did cling, y'all, as did Becky, to their devotion to Scientology, and he blamed the wrongs on the organization and church and his son, not the actual religion. Oh, I did that. But anyway, he took his books with him, all of his books that he had been studying for all those years, and he continued to practice his near lifelong beliefs on his own for years. There's some they say that he eventually completely left the church, but I don't know. I couldn't confirm that. And I haven't read his book yet to find out. I'm sure it tells. So y'all might know more than I know on that. Mischief managed. She's late, everyone. I ought to give you some hell, Mischief managed. Anyway, this was just a quick glance at the life of Ron Miscavige. Please read his book. I'm going to too. It's called Ruthless. You can get it on Amazon or wherever books are sold. And it is a deep account of his story. And also read Jenna's book to see just how miserably Scientology failed even the Miscavige family. I mean, other than the daughters or his sisters, Ron's daughters, but David's sisters, everybody else is left. Like, there's nobody left. And it's just like crazy that, this religion that supposedly can fix all family problems and, is just so great and everything. Ugh, that they couldn't even fix their own problems. They couldn't even fix their own family's problems. So, anyway, I'm going to check with my chat. I see some of them I've already looked at, but I'm going to flip down here and see if I can figure out where I was at. Okay, Miss Sunrise Dawn, DOA is a fraud. Joe McCoyne, Miss Sunrise Dawn. Lisa Kelson says, that's so sweet. That's so sweet of Susie. I'm not allergic to onions, but I hate them. Your casserole sounds way better than the one I made last Friday. Uh-oh. Wonder what you made last Friday. I like a good casserole. I know, Constance Jr. brother dog Charlie is so cute. He's still laying up here. He hadn't went home yet. He's laying over on Mark's side of the bed. He won't go home till we make him. Y'all, we have to literally, because he'll come back in the doggy door. So we have to put him outside and everybody come in and all the other dogs come in. And we have to shut the main door. And then when he sees that he can't get in, he'll go home. But it breaks my heart because I'm like, I don't want him to think that I don't want him. Yes, he is so cute. He is a King Charles. What is that? Whatever I called him. But he's adorable and he's registered and all that. Not that it matters because my dad is sending him Friday to get fixed. Because Yeah, a King Charles Cavalier. Okay, let's see here. I finally kind of caught up. Yes, dogs will do that. I don't know it. The ones that have come in since then, since the beginning, um, if you were here yesterday and you saw where I said that my daughter's dog was missing, we never found her. And we think that she went off to die. She was old, she couldn't hear, she couldn't hardly see, and she had dementia. So we searched everywhere, y'all, everywhere. Mark was on that tractor for hours. Oh, okay, I think I'm finally caught up to where I was. Lisa Kelson said that she's watching Natalie on her TV and Susie on her tablet. You are obsessive, girl. I can't watch two people at once because I can like watch like I'll watch a video and shop online or something like that, even if I'm not buying. Just I like to do more than one thing at a time. I have a hard time just like focusing on one, but I don't think I could watch two actual lives at once or two actual videos or whatever at once. I don't think I could do that. Uh, Blake Reed was late, but not very late, and it doesn't matter. The Sunrise Dawn says, the first time I heard Slider bark, I jumped and looked over at Dad and said, Slider can bark? It was kind of how we were. When he barked, we like looked at each other like, holy cow. Yeah, I don't think that Biddy and Ron Jr. were exactly the nicest people in Scientology either, Marilee. She seems really nice now whenever I watch her on some of Sterling's shows, but I don't know. I don't know. Mhm. In Indigo's insight says ruthless really opened my eyes. I think Ron Sr. truly believed in the tech when he first discovered Hubbard and Dianetics, but was blindsided by how David turned out. I think you're absolutely right. I really do. I absolutely that is like the most true comment so far of the live. I think that is absolutely what happened. I think he really believed it and he really was disappointed, I think, in his son. Lisa Kelson loved Ron Sr.'s book. Also, Jenna talks about David in her book, and it's heartbreaking to hear her talk about how he had human moments, how, how she had human moments with David and Shelley. Yeah. It seemed like she had more with Shelley, and then all of a sudden Shelley turned into a total nutcase. So I don't know. So Marilee says Blake went for my first walk in 3 weeks after being sick. It was really sunny today. That sounds exciting. I wish I could go for a walk, but I just get so tired. Joe McCoy says I have talked at some length to a friend of mine's son. Wow. He was in the Church of Scientology for 15 years. He escaped years ago, but he says there's no real good at all from all the BS they make folks go through. Wow. I think it's sad. Yeah, I've liked all the Scientology books too. Jenna's was my favorite so far, I'm not gonna lie. Um, I loved Jenna's, but I just love her. Yeah, I loved how brutally honest he was too. Even in just the part that I saw, he was yeah, yeah, Loretta was his ex-wife and they eventually divorced, absolutely, and then he married Becky. Yeah, the brain at least the brain is very powerful, and if you I believe that if you think something if you want it bad enough and think it, bad enough, then you can make your brain believe it. I think so too. Marilee says, "Oh my god, my brother was almost involved with holiday magic," and he's pretty smart. I wanna look into that too. It's another one of those things that I wanna look into. I have a list, y'all. It's like, ugh, I have so many things. I've been trying to catch up. I have, shows, the notes all written up through Friday now. So I've got stuff written for every day up till Friday. So I'm trying to really get in advance so that I can rest more in the daytime on the days that I feel like crap and then just do my lives and not have to do, all the research and then go live. Because a lot of times I'm doing research on one show, but I go live on the research that I did the day before. So now I'm like a week ahead, basically, almost. So for a little bit anyway. Yeah, he said that David Miscavige was able to get rid of his asthma. I still wonder if it was a childhood thing. Yeah. Indigo says, I think that having this dysfunction with his wife would have created a system of neglect with the kids. I'm not surprised David didn't have a good concept of communication in relationships. Absolutely. Hi, West Coast Fancy Nancy. Thank you so much for being a member. Davy claimed to get rid of his asthma, but those around him said that the reason he was so worried about C19, oh, yeah, was because of his asthma. Yeah, right. I remember hearing that. So if he got rid of it, why is he still worried about it when the virus came around? Yes, thank you, Dawn, for reminding everybody to hit the like and subscribe and the notifications, please, so you don't miss us. Eat more pizzas here. Good to see you. Indigo says that I think it makes sense when you read Ruthless. Ron talks about how he wanted to be in a band. He actually also recorded, had got a record deal when they were in England. So cool. Certain things that dramatically reduce the effects of asthma is client. I'm getting tired. Climate and air quality. I suffered from bad asthma for the first 11 years of my life, and we moved to New Mexico and it disappeared. That was Blake. Yeah, locations can really, it's weird. Like we live in Oklahoma, and y'all see me, I'm constantly rubbing my nose. I have um, spring and fall allergies really bad. But when we are in California, I don't have any allergies, none. So Marilee says a little parasite didn't want to catch a parasite. Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm gonna put that one up. That is funny. Yeah, eat more pizza. We are glad to see you. David showed early signs of personality issues. Ron talks about a moment when David was 7 that he retaliated against someone by slashing their bicycle tires. That was Indigo. Can you imagine? I mean, I can't remember. Is Veta 7 or 8? My mind just went completely blank. But I can't imagine. I can't imagine. She's 7, I think. But anyway, I can't imagine her slashing somebody's tires. Now, I will tell you, little monster she's a little stinker, and she holds a grudge. And she calls her brother Connor, who's 16, she calls him a pesterer. And she says that he pesters her all the time. Of course, she pesters him all the time, too. This has been going on for years. I mean, those kids, there's 4 of them, 5 of them total, because one's married, but there's 4 that's still at home. And anyway, They adore her. I mean, she's like their little doll, they mess with her all the time. But anyway, so Veta is such a little shit that she will hide stuff. And one time she hid Connor's glasses for weeks and weeks. And then, like, they were gonna go get new glasses or something, and she's like, "Oh, look what I found. I found Connor's glasses." And, like, I have a really nice magnifying glass that's been gone for 2 years, and I know that that little monster has hid it somewhere. She thinks it's funny. She's not being mean about it. She thinks it's funny. But anyway, I know that she has hid it somewhere and has forgotten about it. So, I don't know, one of these days, we'll probably find it. Maybe. Indigo says, "I'm surprised how much my brain remembers all this Scientology when I can't even remember my own schedule day to day." I'm the same way. Like, I will get on like, Megan will take me to the doctor. And I swear, from the time I get in the car till the time I get out of the car when we get home, I am telling her, like all these little Scientology things. And can you believe this? And can this person said that? And can you believe that they did that? And can, oh, la, 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 you know. But ask me what show I'm doing tomorrow, which I do remember because it's one with Veta. But generally, I don't know. And, ask me when my next doctor's appointment is. I don't know. I always have to call Mark and go, "When do I go to the doctor?" Or look on my chart. If it wasn't for my chart, I'd be in trouble because I make lists and I forget to take them. Yeah. Max Smith says DOA is a fraud. Yeah. Mischief Man just messaged me. It says 2 minutes. I'm going. I'm going. DOA or Max Smith said DOA is a fraud. I watched the convoy yesterday. I haven't watched those videos. I honestly just don't want to watch you know who. I don't want to see him, so buzzing through some of these where you're just talking to each other. So yeah, I think if they had insisted, Indigo says, I think if they insisted David stay in school, it would have been different. But David dropped out of school at 16 and joined the Sea Org. That's crazy to me. It is to me too, but it actually happened to people younger than that. 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I believe in nature and nurture too. Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I agree, Indigo. I don't think that he was given true consequences for his actions. Yeah. Brooke Elliott says that he got some of those tools from his dad. It's hard to separate that for me after hearing how Mike Brown's mom was treated. Yeah. Yeah, I think that he Indigo, I agree. I think he bought his dad gifts to keep him in the church. I'm having to skip a few because I'm going to get in trouble. Yeah, they could be building a case. The FBI could be building a case, and we don't know. I wish they would, though. Yes, there are two Rons, Ron Sr. and Ron Jr. So Ron Jr. is the one that did that to Mike's mom. Yeah, but still. If y'all hear dings, it's mischief managed getting on to me. Yeah, yeah. To my knowledge, this is Indigo. Before Ron Jr. and Biddy joined the Sea Org, bringing in Jenna, Josh, and Sterling, they were public Scientologists as well as Denise and Lori, Dave's sisters. Yeah, Miss Sunrise Dawn says $10,000 a week. I'm in the wrong profession. Even if they had to split that because there was two of them, even if they had to split it, that's $5,000 a week, and that is pretty good. Yeah, it's wild to me too, Eileen, that they're just legally allowed to have somebody followed. But I mean, I guess, private investigators, it's a legal profession. So, uh, wow. Ron Jr. or Ron Sr., I'm sorry, definitely did blow. He talks about the moment when he was followed into a parking lot by Lori, Denise, and others and fair gamed him while his new wife was in treatment for cancer. Gary Mackey tossing out those gifted memberships again, y'all. He is something else. Gary, I cannot thank you enough. And I did catch you yesterday, by the way, with that super chat right as I closed out. Yeah, I was like hitting leave studio and I saw it pop up. So thank you so much for that. And you don't have to. Nobody has to. I appreciate it. It goes towards my chemo, but yeah, wait, Mitch wrote a book. I haven't read Mitch's book, but I did hear that it was good. In the beginning, I think that he was fine. He's just kind of gotten a little bit, I don't know, a little different. Hey, Carrie Ann's here. I know I'm missing people. Fuzzy pink handcuffs. Aw, it's a room raid, y'all, from Club Brain Fog. I think they room raided me the other day. I appreciate that so much, y'all. If my mods can look and see if there's anybody live right now, we're getting ready to close out. We could do a room raid. So that's always an option. If somebody knows somebody that's live, yeah, welcome room raiders. We love it. And we love to do it right back to people. It's good to see everybody. Hey, Carrie Ann, I haven't talked to you in a while. I miss you. Yep, we're coming up on an hour, Gary said. Aw. Sitting in defense. Good to see you. He's a you're a member. Thank you. Wrong gloves. Dawn Gloves. I can't even talk, y'all. Has been a member for 2 months. She says, "How's your energy, Miss Susie?" Not good right now. I'm tired because I have been working on some stories today. I made dinner, which is exhausting. So I'm tired, but we're getting ready to be done. Kimberly Gabaldon, good to see you. Thank you, Gary, for the gift memberships. It is appreciated. Isn't that just the sweetest thing? Brooke Elliott's been a member for a month. Love you, Auntie and Uncle Mark. Rest well. We will. Yeah. We've gotten so many well wishes and prayers and just everything since his cancer diagnosis. I just appreciate you guys so much. We'll find out in a few days what they're going to do. So I will keep you informed. Marilee's been a member for 3 months. Love you, Susie. I love you too, Marilee. I really do. It was so good to talk to you yesterday on here. It was just amazing. Oh, thank you. We both love you guys too. So Dawn, is that somewhere we can go room raid? I'll have to check on it in a little bit, but I think it probably is. But anyway, I am going to go. I'm going to go put my dinner in the oven. I forgot to tell Mark to stick it in there, so it'll be a little bit. Okay, y'all, there is a Dawn Gloves put a link, so be looking for that. click on that and go do a room raid. I'm going to go raid it first real quick before I go put the deal in the oven. I might holler at Mark and tell him to do it, but So anyway, I'm going to click over on that real quick before I forget what I'm doing. Oh, but y'all, please come back tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be it'll be in the afternoon. It won't be late. We're going to do a little Temu haul with Veta because she likes to do that and she doesn't know it. But I'm going to give her a budget this week and let her go shopping on Temu and buy anything she wants as long as she stays within that budget, whether it be one item or 20 items. And I'm probably just going to give her like a $25 budget, something like that. And I'm saving up my my what they call them now, what they give you credits. Anyway, I get all these credits. And I'm saving up those so it's not even going to cost me money. So I'll easily have $25 in credits within a week. So anyway, so her little shopping spree is not going to cost me anything, but it's going to probably mean the world to her because, I mean, she doesn't really get to go shopping much or anything. So anyway, we're going to do that. And she doesn't know that yet, but she's going to be with me tomorrow when we just show a few little things that we've gotten. It won't be a very long one. But it will be in the afternoon. It'll be early. And then y'all, the next day, we're going to go live and it'll be early too. I cannot remember what time I said I was going to do that. I'll have to look back on my notes. But anyway, it'll be in the afternoon, like early. And anyway, you're not going to want to miss that one. I will put the thumbnail up tomorrow so that you all will have plenty of time to look at it and make plans to be there. So at 11, yeah, Mischief manages. We're going to do it at 11. So that's going to be an early one on Tuesday. Now tomorrow will probably be around noon, 1 o'clock. I'll put that up tonight sometime for tomorrow, so you'll see it. And so swing by and just say hey to Veta, and so she'll love that. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I love you guys. Thank you so much for popping in, and thank you for the gifted memberships, Gary. And you need to stop that, but thank you. I appreciate it. And I am gonna go, and I will see you guys tomorrow or on some of the streams tonight because I can't stay away from them. See you tomorrow. Bye, guys. I love you.